Dear friends, tonight we are privileged to welcome formally Temple Emanu-El's new Director of Lifelong Learning, Ira J. Wise. In fact, Ira has been with us since last June, and in that time has already brought new energy to our religious school and family education programming, and established himself as a warm and embracing presence to members young and older alike. For our staff, he has become a wonderful colleague with a can-do approach to every opportunity. He has even built a branch of our religious school in our new downtown campus. Personally, I couldn't be happier to have him here. Highly regarded in the field, Ira brings a unique passion for creativity and experiential learning to Jewish education. And as he picks up the baton from Saul Kaiserman, our educator emeritus, I know Ira will lift our already wonderful religious school to new heights, further integrating into the spirit of warmth and joy for which our school is known, a commitment to the fundamentals of Jewish literacy so that our graduates enter the college environment with a confidence in their Jewish identity and knowledge. Ira came to Temple Emanu-El after serving Congregation B'nai Israel in Bridgeport from 1995 to 2022. There he worked with lay leaders, parents, and faculty to keep Jewish learning always on the cutting edge. For many summers, Ira joined the faculty of the Union for Reform Judaism's summer camps, and he has chaperoned teens on the Reform Movement's Israel experiences. His years as a regional director for Young Judea solidified his commitment to Israel and Zionism. Ira is also involved in the larger community of Jewish educators, serving in the leadership of the Association of Reformed Jewish Educators, who bestowed on him the Distinguished Educator honor. Today, he mentors others in the field, including new graduates of the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, from which he received his master's and honorary doctorate. He has served as a consultant to several synagogues as they adapt technology into their schools, and he has led workshops and seminars for teachers and educators around the country on a variety of topics. Ira was also a mentor and staff member at Beit Teshuvah, the first Jewish residential addiction recovery center, where he earned a certificate in spiritual counseling. He has published numerous curricula and articles. Ira lives in New York City with his wife Audrey, who is here, with their son Ethan and his partner Jake. And they're joined by close friends Susan and Richard Walden, among the leaders of B'nai Israel in Bridgeport, and Ira's colleague and classmate Karen Beitel. We warmly welcome them all. It is customary at an installation ceremony for the one being celebrated to invite a colleague or mentor who has shaped his or her personal philosophy and professional vision. And so to be asked to deliver installation remarks is indeed a great honor. For that honor, Ira has chosen Tamara Rebick, the founder and chief experience officer of Coriphery Holistic Consulting Solutions. A strategic thinker and resource to Jewish organizations, Tamara is most passionate about developing thoughtful learning spaces and bringing them to life. Serving in formal, experiential, and informal settings for over 20 years, Tamara has worked closely with Jewish day schools and supplemental schools, youth movements, synagogues, summer camps, Hillels, federations, and foundations. She serves on the faculty of M Squared, the Institute for Experiential Jewish Education, and was one of Ira's teachers when he was selected for its senior educators cohort. While she is in New York, she'll also be spending time with our teachers to further incorporate experiential learning into our program. But tonight, she is ours, and we welcome her, Tamara Rebick.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Tamara, and I am a Jewish educator who strongly disliked school, all kinds of school, day school, supplemental school, public school, university, you get the idea. However, I have always loved learning. It's really the formal education world that I personally struggled with because it seemed to me to be a one-size-fits-all world, and it wasn't my size. That said, since I was a teen, I have been involved and filled with curiosity about our customs, our history, and a relationship with the divine. And the more I explored my own, the more intrigued I became. I saw others like me and found myself connecting them to our people's traditions and texts, all in the hope that they might find joy and wonder and meaning in Judaism. Through youth movements, overnight summer camps, and community leadership opportunities, I experienced a profoundly meaningful connection to Judaism. I love learning by doing, and I love teaching through experiences. Even in a classroom, I live at the intersection of formal and informal pedagogy. I live at the heart of experiential education. It is truly an honor to be spending this Kabbalat Shabbat with your community and celebrating the installation of Ira J. Wise as the Temple Emanu-El's Director of Lifelong Learning. As a faculty member with the Senior Educators Cohort run through M², the Institute for Experiential Jewish Education, I first met Ira in June of 2019 as he was embarking on a transformational professional development experience. The Senior Educators Cohort program provides outstanding educators from across the globe with the theories and the practices to enable them to master the craft of experiential Jewish education. M² stands for Machshava U'Ma'aseh, intentionality and practice. At M², we say that experiences matter. No doubt, Jewish experiences matter. It's why this magnificent sanctuary was designed the way that it was. It's why the prayer service structure and the prayer book's liturgy, which is brought to life through specific music compositions, dramatic pauses, moments when we stand, moments when we sit, are all so powerful. I believe in experiential education because I have seen over my 2 decades in the field of working with Jewish education practitioners that we learn most personally and connect to concepts most deeply through our own experiences. The carefully curated way in which we make sense of our experiences is what defines and refines how we express and act on our attitudes and opinions. This is experiential Jewish education, and Ira is one of the most passionate and enthusiastic experiential Jewish educators I know. Hence, it is so exciting and meaningful that he is being installed this evening as the Temple's Director of Lifelong Learning. Ira is a prime role model. In Hebrew, we call a dugma for lifelong learning, and no doubt he will lead this community into a new chapter of Jewish enrichment, rich with intentionality and purpose. I'll hope that you'll allow me to geek out for a couple of moments on the importance, significance, and power of experiential Jewish education. I share this specifically to spotlight the skills and the savvy that Ira is bringing to his role. Some of you have likely seen Taylor Malley's YouTube monologue or rant called "What Do You Make?" Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. The premise is that a teacher is asked at a dinner party what they make. The underlying presumption is that they are asking about their salary. His powerful and passionate response comes down to this: as a teacher, I make a difference. Ira's energy is laser focused on making a difference in the lives of his learners, his team members, peers, and colleagues. A skilled educator like Ira considers how to set up learning experiences, whatever the idea, knowledge, or skill being taught. Learners who actively engage with a talented experiential Jewish educator are guided to make sense of and establish personal meaning from that learning. An educator like Ira curates personally meaningful journeys for his learners. My definition for experiential Jewish education is the process by which my learners experience the information that I am sharing with them and how they internalize it for personal meaning. Experiential Jewish education is a pedagogy. It's not a creative tactic to boost engagement, though that is a very, very reliable result. We are all learners. We have been created by design to see the world around us with curiosity and wonder. We have free will to evolve and grow, to be influenced by our surroundings, and to select how and who we want to be. Influential learning that shapes who we are and who we want to become is often found in self-exploratory environments, where connections between personal worldviews and the knowledge being presented are encouraged. An example, in my first grade, my school held a Siddur ceremony where we each individually received our own prayer books, learned fun melodies, and learned how to use them on our own. The prayer books we received had an inscription to us individually from our teachers, and we were told to take them home and use them. Growing up in a family that went to synagogue every week, I started carrying my own Siddur to the synagogue when my dad and I walked to shul. After the Siddur ceremony, I started bringing my Siddur with me, only realizing in that moment what that book represented. It was mine because I had a personal experience in learning its contents. It was mine because I received it as my own. It had my name in it. And it was mine because I was being encouraged to actively use it. When education is only prescriptive and predetermined in what we must know and how we must apply it, the learning feels less authentic. It belongs to the educator and learners in order to assume that it is mine. We are all learners. When we learn by experiencing the idea rather than learning about the idea, we become empowered to personally connect to and internalize that idea. This is transformative learning, and transformative learning like this will no doubt flourish through Ira's vision. We are all children. Exploring Judaism as a child is filled with concrete, tactile, and creative experiences. Think about a model Seder, the mother and father, Ima, Abba, Shabbat, shaking a lulav, decorating a sukkah, dressing up in costumes and festive wear. They're all exploratory, and of course, they are also very tasty. After all, babies learn best once they put something in their mouth and they know what it is. As we grow older, our brains develop into more sophisticated processing centers, and we move farther away from these more fun, playful, and concrete experiences. We find ourselves spending more time thinking about abstract concepts and values like justice, community, tradition, and hope, to name a few. The challenge here is that the more we talk about rather than actively practice, the less we personally learn from our own experiences of engaging in the acts of justice, community, and hope. Therefore, the pedagogy of experiential Jewish education is so powerful. This pedagogy creates opportunities for learners to explore ideas and knowledge in the world through concrete explorations that used to be so engaging when we were children. The more we do this, the more confident we become in our convictions, actions, and behavior. The confidence gives us the ability to use the tools collected through a journey of lifelong learning and to use them generatively. No doubt you will see examples of such concrete experiences led to inspiring Jewish moments through Ira's leadership. Lastly, we are all builders. It is not in human nature to passively let life happen to us. Sometimes we can be really tired, deliciously lazy even, but we are all builders, destined to create a legacy that in some way will make our world better. Building on this idea, imagine the power of a congregation that prioritizes lifelong learning through creating meaningful experiences and offering its community the tools and training for how to create more meaning whenever the community meets. Did I just suggest that Temple Emanu-El is like Home Depot? Yes, I did. You can build it, and they will help, especially with Ira as the Director of Lifelong Learning. There is a traditional source of wisdom that has guided me for my many years at work. Prophet Isaiah said, "When all of your children are taught of the Lord, great will be the peace of your children." Rabbi Elazar taught in the name of Rabbi Hanina through the ethics of our fathers. This ancient rabbinic lesson emphasizes that children and learners are the future. The Hebrew goes on to say, "V'rav shalom banaich, al tikra banaich, ela bonaich, v'chol banaich limodei Hashem." Translated, it means don't call your children banaich, which is the Hebrew word for children, but rather bonaich. When spelled differently, it actually changes the meaning to builders. I love this so much, and here's why. We are all learners, we are all children, and we are all builders. Rabbi Davidson, Rabbi Sepedin, Rabbi Ehrlich, Cantor Anderson, and the Temple's president, Mr. Harris Diamond, esteemed members of Temple Emanu-El, and my dear colleague, Ira J. Wise. What better way to explore the value of growth than here at Temple Emanu-El, where lifelong learning is championed? I'm told that teens in this community are actively engaging in social justice and that they are working hard to make the world a more equitable and inclusive place for all. This is a beautiful example of how children at any age are not the future. Rather, they are builders for their age cohorts. This is the key and foundation for successful, lifelong, experiential Jewish learning and living. I am confident and so excited for Temple Emanu-El's community to begin to create new concrete experiences with Ira leading this educational mission. Ira, I wish you, your team of talented educators, and the entire Temple Emanu-El community a blessing, a bracha, that there will be great peace for you and your children. Shabbat Shalom.
Ira, as we place into your care the education of our children in the traditions and values that will ensure our people's future, we ask upon you the blessing with which the rabbis of old blessed their own treasured teachers. It captures our hopes and prayers for you and for us under your leadership. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come. May you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be filled with insight. May your songs be ever on your tongue for praise and your vision be on a straight path before you. May your eyes shine with the light of holy words and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness as you ever yearn to hear the words of the Holy and Ancient One. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May the light of God's face shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God turn his face toward you and bless you with peace. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Tamara. I'm honored by your words and your presence on this bima. And I'm grateful to be here as your new Director of Lifelong Learning. Our kids are wicked smart here at Temple Emanu-El. Some are really good at digesting what they hear. Some do better with what they read or see. Others do better by touching or singing. Some see the world in ways that are very different from the person sitting next to them. And we get to help them and their parents find their way in the world through the Jewish lenses of values, history, language, belief, and peoplehood. The trick is to find ways that work for each of them while teaching them in a group setting. And in just a few hours, once a week, I do have some ideas, and together we're forming them into a plan. For the past decade, my professional journey has focused on finding ways to build learning around experience. I believe our learners need less frontal instruction and more practice in using Jewish values and ideas in how they encounter their world. They do need to learn a lot of essential content, the story of the Jewish people and how we've made our way in the world since Abraham and Sarah started out on their way to the Promised Land about 3,800 years ago, as well as all the language, culture, traditions, and adaptations to realities that have been part of our story. I believe that the best way to do this is when they can be engaging in the content and deriving Jewish values from experiences that they have together here at Temple Emanu-El. Let me share an example. This coming Sunday, the 7th and 8th grades are going on a do-it-yourself adventure in the year 70 CE. I'll be joining them with our student rabbi, Emma Dubin. They'll be met by Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, just before he escaped from the besieged Jerusalem and convinced the Romans to allow him to gather the rabbis at Yavna to save Jerusalem. It's a great story. It's worth Googling. In teams of 3, the kids will work their way through a narrative that offers them choices at every turn as they journey through the next 65 years. They might find themselves in the desert with the Essenes or on Masada with Eleazar. They could find themselves fighting the Romans, including joining Bar Kokhba's revolt in 132. Or not. They get to choose. And as they make their way, they'll record their choices and why they made them, as well as note the people they meet and what they learn from them. Once in a while, they may reach the words that say, the end. So we'll have them go back 4 or 5 steps, make a different choice, and find a new path through history and see what happened in those cases. And then at the end of before the hour ends, they'll come together and share what they've discovered, because experiences are only educational once you talk about them. And they'll begin to understand what being in diaspora means, since as American Jews, it doesn't really feel that way to most of us. Much of my time this first year at Emanu-El is going to be spent meeting people and building relationships. At the same time, our teachers are learning with me, our Associate Director Karen Roman, and our brand new Assistant Director Emily Bestoff, how to bring experiential learning into their classrooms. Tamara will be teaching them this Sunday, as well as 2 other occasions later this year. The plan is to experiment with what they learn this year and make it a significant tool in their teaching next year. We have a wonderful faculty. I believe that experiential learning is an essential tool that will make them even better. More importantly, I believe the experiences of our kids will create a buzz. And I believe that will lead to more learners finding their way to 10 East 66th Street. Thank you to Tamara for continuing to be my teacher. Thank you, Rabbi Davidson, for becoming my teacher and colleague. And thank you, Harris Diamond, and all the leadership of Temple Emanu-El for making me your Director of Lifelong Learning. Rabbi Ehrlich, Rabbi Sepaden, and Cantor Anderson, I'm proud to join your team. Finally, I want to thank my friend Saul Kaiserman. I've now been blessed 3 times to follow someone who's built an amazing school. My friend, I'm honored to be the one chosen to take something great and work with a fantastic team to bring it to the next level. Shabbat Shalom.
Ira's selection as our educator was made possible by the work of a wonderful committee led by then chair of our HR department, Brian Pessin, then chair of our parent association, Louise Santa Cruz, and chair of our religious school committee, Abby Elbaum. To offer the congratulations of our entire lay leadership, I now am delighted to call upon our president, Harris Diamond.
Ira, what little you know of me is probably that I'm usually not at a loss for words. But when our committee told me that you were our finalist, and they sent that resume that our senior rabbi read for about 10 minutes, it was one of the few times I said, so what are we going to talk about? Aren't we just going to try to convince him to show up on the Bima one day? Ira was a person who our committee looked at very, very closely. And as you heard tonight, he has great plans for our religious learning, our lifelong learning. And on behalf of the trustees and on behalf of the school association, on behalf of the 2 committee chairs who are responsible for choosing you, I just want to offer you best from all of us and wish you much luck in the years ahead and really look forward to seeing the changes as you build upon our wonderful school. Thank you, Ira.